So Nintendo killed YUZU and Citra over last week. The Android PlayStation 2 emulator has been removed from Play Store and their website is gone. This is actually happened today. I don't have much visual stuff to show in this video, so just treat this as a podcast. The whole emulation community is just suffering right now. This is the worst thing that could ever happen to all gamers and also to Nintendo themselves. I think there is always a better solution than bury that whole thing under the ground. There are too many reasons that why they did this, and I think they are completely wrong. Nintendo only care about their short-term profit and they don't care about the overall Nintendo brand image in the gaming community. I am disappointed with them. So first, based on Nintendo's information, there are 1 million tiers of Kingdom downloaded and played through emulation. They treated those 1 million downloads as their potential sales. I think this is absolutely nonsense. Here I will use myself as an example to prove their nonsense. I believe most gamers are in the same boat as me. This is how I usually play my Switch game. I will go purchase a physical copy from Nintendo, even though I know I can play it through emulation for free. I will still buy that game because I want to support the game developer and show the respect to their hard work. Because I love the Switch game, that I would also like to emulate that game on my PC and play it in 4K and apply different modes to play the game. Also, when I am on the go, I can just take my Windows handheld PC, Steam Deck, or even an Android handheld to emulate my Switch game without carrying another Switch. But Nintendo is just trying to make all this impossible for future games. I'm pretty sure lots of you just do the same way as me. So we buy the legal game from Nintendo and we also download the game ROM on internet. That means they just can't treat that 1 million downloads as their game sale. I just can't deny there are very few people may just want to play free games through emulation. Because they are broke, I totally understand them. The video game is expensive. In this scenario, if there was no emulation ever existed, those people would not buy the game from Nintendo either. So I don't believe emulation hurts game sales a lot as they claimed. Instead, emulation makes people are more excited with Nintendo brands and games. Even after 2 or 3 decades, people are still emulating Nintendo games on all different modern hardwares. Think about this, if there is no emulation ever exists, we were not able to play so many great games back from the 80s and 90s on modern hardware. The new generation probably will only know Nintendo based on their modern hardware, so from a long-term business perspective, emulation is actually beneficial for Nintendo. The second reason why they shut down the YUZU and Citra is preparing for the Switch 2 release. They are doing this just to show that they are serious about emulation of Nintendo's new hardware. If you want to be part of emulation development, you would better stay away from Switch 2, otherwise you have to suffer like YUZU. But I think there is always a sweet spot between emulation and companies like Nintendo, Sony, or Microsoft. Here are my thoughts on the emulation game. Instead of shutting down emulation, big companies like Nintendo, Sony, or Microsoft should support and develop emulation and treat emulation as part of their business. So when we purchase a digital or physical copy game from them, a unique emulation code will be signed to that game we bought. Then we can use that code to download the emulation copy from Nintendo, Sony, or Microsoft emulation platform to emulate that game on PC, Linux, or even Mac system. Of course, maybe they should charge for extra money for that emulation copy. I will always be happy to pay that extra money to have the emulation copy, so I can play that game on other hardwares. I always think the future gaming should not be limited by hardware. A video game should be playable across all hardwares. The emulation is doing this kind of job right now. It also preserves old games, but Nintendo is so dumb and they are just trying to bear the emulation on the ground. Of course, they are hurting themselves too. I just hope there is no more emulation shutdown in the future, and big companies should really think about how to take emulation as part of their business plan.